And we treat our children with love and care, and I had to teach the staff how to love children. And truly, I really mean this sincerely, we are changing society with every big boy and every big girl that leaves us having been through Restart. We are changing society because they're going to bring their children up like we have brought them up.
Hello listeners and welcome back down the Farm podcast. We've had some awesome guests so far this year, but you might have been able to tell that we have been off air for about a month now. There is a reason for that. But before we get back into the episode, here is a bit of information of why the podcast first started, if this is the first time you're listening. Down the Farm podcast was started by me, Henry Carpenter, of a life-changing accident on the family farm at the age of 14. Since then, spiraling on recovery, meeting great people, inspirational people, and people with great stories to tell. Hence, bring them back down to the farm, my safe space, to go and talk about various different topics and various different ventures that people have been on. And today's episode is far, far from that because we're in a different country. We're in Kenya. This is a reason why I've been quiet on the podcast, due to the fact that I've been working for the charity that I'm ambassador for as in Kenya, called Restart Africa. This charity rescues the worst street children and street children cases across Kenya and East Africa. I first got involved in the charity when I volunteered 3 months last year, hence then going on to my ambassador role and now also working within the staff as a sort of member of staff role, I guess you can put it that way. Restart was founded by Mary Coulson MBE in 2007 after the devastating effects of the civil war here in Kenya, seeing so many children homeless, she just couldn't bear it. Since then, it's spired on 17 years later, a proper centre in Langa, just outside of Gilgil in Nakuru County, with over 100 children we look after from 3 years old all the way to university level. So the impact Mary has had and the team have had of rescuing these kids from really, really devastating environments. Some of the girls have been sexually abused, physically abused, including the boys, and a lot of them be left maybe to die on the streets. All different cases, but they are the most happy, kind, loving children you'll ever meet. And it's been an honour to come and work out here for the charity and meet everyone who's been a part of it, whatever stage it's been at. So experience this as not being on the farm for an episode, but being out in Kenya, and enjoy it. Restart also supports the local community with its own football team, briquette making, garden, herbal staff around the centre doing different duties and trying to make the local community as happy and healthy as possible. So it's not just all about the children, but also about the local community as well. The episode format, we've got a mix of staff, the volunteers who are currently out there, and also, of course, Mary Coulson MBE herself, talking about how she founded the charity and what it does now and affects every child each day. So enjoy it, sit back, relax, and take in a bit of Kenya. So we're now joined by Charlene, who's one of the members of staff at Restart. So Charlene, what was it like working at Restart?
Thank you so much for your question. Working at Restart has been very career growing. I've really enjoyed working at Restart because you get to work with different kinds of people with different kinds of background, and also working for kids who have had different kinds of backstories. And also it's been a pleasure working for Mary Coulson, and I'm actually very much honored to be working here.
Awesome. What would you agree, like, as a Kenyan children's home, this obviously would be very different to what you call a typical one that you see on the streets. Yeah. People don't really understand that, so can you talk us a bit through that and what the difference would be?
Okay, so Restart is different because we kind of generalize all the kids. We don't like separate them according to what they've been through. We take them all as normal kids regardless of your past or anything like that. And we also bring up our children with lots of praises, and we love them, and we teach them to be their brothers and sisters keepers, and we also teach them to respect each other, I suppose, each other as well, and also respect the staff as well.
Okay, yeah. So in terms of like having I'd call like a Kenyan children's home, which would be one that would probably people would see on the street down like Gilgil locally to us. There's a big lack of understanding from general people, isn't it, who aren't Kenyan, that the actual government take money from that charity and the kids aren't looked after properly. Is that true?
True, that is very true. So here at Restart, because all our money comes through fundraising and whatnot, we do have auditors, and the auditors go through all our financial records. That's just to ensure that we are doing everything right by the books. And also, as you can see, Restart has so many amenities that you can't find in the other kind of children's homes. So we have a music room that is fully equipped with all kinds of music equipments, and also we do have a computer room that has a lot of computers as well, and we have transport. So these are things that you can't find in other children's homes. Yeah, because
And how has your time here impacted you as a member of staff?
Yeah, so I actually joined Restart right after college, and it has opened my eyes a lot because I've been able to learn how to treat my kids if I have some of my own. I've been able to learn how to coexist with other people regardless of their past and their upbringings and whatnot. Yeah, and it has shaped me to become a grateful person, because you kind of see these kids and you're like, you have to like appreciate what you have. It has really equipped me as a woman, like totally. Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Well, Charlene, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
My fair lady, fill it up with iron steel, iron steel, iron steel. Fill it up with iron steel, my fair lady.
Thank you much for joining us. Can we please just go around the room, start with Eliza on the right-hand side, Matt's on my far left, and just explain your name and how you got involved in Restart.
I'm Eliza, and I got involved in Restart because Mary came to speak at my school, Godolphin, and I was really inspired by it. And then Liv told me she was coming, so I was like, I'll come too, and it's a really good experience.
I'm Dan. I got into Restart through Mary coming to school. We then went on a school trip to Restart, and then me and my mate Matt have came out for a month to volunteer.
I'm Liv, and similar to Eliza, Mary came to speak at my school, and I really felt like it really motivated me to come out and help the kids and make a difference. So yeah.
I'm Lucy. I found out about Restart by my school. Mary came to speak there, and some people in the year above me came out last year, and I spoke to them and they said it was a great opportunity, so I followed them, and here I am.
I'm Matt. Mary came to speak at our school. I went to the same school as Dan, and then last year we came on a school trip here, and then me and Dan just decided we wanted to come back out because we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and obviously you, Matt, coming from, all of us have come from quite privileged backgrounds anyway, but coming out here again, second time, what was their difference? Do you recommend that people get involved in school trips and come back out?
I think so, yeah, because when you come on a school trip, it's a completely different experience, because you're spending more sort of time just with the kids because you're here for a short period of time. But when you come back out again as a volunteer, you're doing all sorts, helping out the staff, not just the kids. So I think it's a completely different experience, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who would come back out. Absolutely,
and obviously Lucy, coming from, you were saying yourself, you just heard about the charity through friends and stuff like that. So from expectation to actually being here, what kind of differences did you sort of take on board?
Well, I mean, I didn't have that much information from the friends I spoke to. They said that they loved it, that it was a great opportunity, meeting all the kids, helping out. And I just thought it would be a great thing for me to do, to come out and help.
And what kind of things have you been learning since you've been here?
I think what's been really impactful is kind of working with kids all different age groups, from babies like 3-year-olds up till they're 15 or however old they are here.
Dan, get on to you. What kind of projects have you been working on? So, like, key things you got involved in. Is there anything that really specially to yourself has made you feel like your time at Restart's been worthwhile?
So one of our projects has been after supper, we go into the dormitories and help the kids do their homework. So there's a group of 4 or 5 kids who really do struggle. Mm-hmm. So me, Matt, and then you, when you have came, we focus on maths and English. So we help them with that. We try and introduce new ways for them to learn. We've also helped in different ways. So a few days ago, me, Matt, you and Leek were on about changing the homework times and lunch times to get this into better routines. We've also done storage projects, so we've had to reorganise multiple different donations for the kids and making it more accessible for the staff to access.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, honestly, from a point of view being a volunteer like myself, I think it's actually quite impactful doing the homework sort of stuff as well. And you suggesting ideas and different projects and that sort of thing is a great part of being a volunteer. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I mean, Eliza, as a group of volunteers, I feel like you do get a very close bond. You're in like a living quarters. It's almost a bit like I'm a celeb when they're down the jungle, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All celebs come together. So have you guys been on any trips at all, like long, bigger trips, or even maybe going down to the local sort of areas, Langa Langa, and experiencing what Kenya has to offer just together as a group?
Yeah, with volunteering here, you do have some free time to go on trips. We went to Naivasha and we stayed at this campsite and went out for dinner, and we did a really cool boat safari around Crescent Island, which I definitely recommend. And then we also went to Soisambu and did a safari there. And honestly, the prices around here are really good and it's really accessible for volunteers who come. And yeah, there's just so much to do around here and it's really fun to do it as a group when you're here.
Any personal ones you'd recommend to go and do?
Definitely the boat trip around Crescent Island. It was honestly incredible. I didn't even know what to expect in the first place, but it was definitely worth it.
Absolutely. And Liv, obviously, as an outlook on life, I suppose, when you become here from a very privileged background, then come to somewhere like Restart, personally yourself, what do you think your outlook on life has changed since being here?
I think being here does humble you, particularly we've all been so lucky, going and having great education, living very good lifestyles. So actually I think coming here, when you have the opportunity, is really important for people who might not get that experience otherwise. It's very humbling, but all the kids, we all muck in together. You don't see the difference in how they live. You know what I'm saying? It's great to hang out with them. It's a really nice experience, and yeah.
And any of these sort of lessons you've learned in life you're going to take future into next journey of your going to universities possibly?
I think it gives you a lot of life experience. It gives you a lot of independence, and actually also the opportunity to work with children takes you take that experience forward into your adult life. So I think it's a really good character building experience, I would say.
Absolutely. And anyone, just putting this open floor question, is any sort of suggestions you do for future volunteers, any ideas you push forward for them to do before they come, Eliza?
I would definitely say maybe raise money before you come, because then you have the opportunity to do trips with the kids on the weekends. You can buy food for them. You could do special movie nights, anything, honestly anything. And I really wish someone had given us that advice, because although we are doing these things for them, I feel like we could, if we'd raise money, we could do a lot more.
Also, when you're on a budget on your gap year, I think, because a lot of volunteers come out our age, other than you, we're all 19, we're all on our gap years, and we're all living on budgets at the moment. We've earned our money and we're going to other places afterwards, and obviously we want to splash our cash on all the kids because that's why we're here. But if we had known, as Eliza said, we would have budgeted for that, as taking the kids on trips and stuff as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, Matt, Lucy, Liv, Dan, Eliza, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you so
us.
much.
I don't still bend about, bend about, bend about. I am still bend about, my fair lady.
So also we're now joined by Jacqueline, who's another member of staff. So Jacqueline, what's your role at Restart and how long have you been here for?
I'm the marketing and communications executive at Restart. I'm fairly new, so I started on January 12th, 2026. So I think about a month and some weeks old.
Okay, so obviously coming to this charity as somebody who's worked in marketing for a long time, has this been a big project for you to carry on and take on?
I've really enjoyed, especially coming from a very, very fast-paced environments, and coming here it's pretty chilled, and working with the kids here are just very disciplined. Again, it's been nice again having good colleagues like my colleague Charlene and Luke, and also working with Mary, and also you, Henry, just interacting with all the volunteers from all over the world. It's been a very nice experience that I have never had in my life.
Yeah, it must be pretty weird, obviously, coming from being a native Kenyan and then working with Europeans. So has it been pretty life-changing so far? I know you've only been here a couple of months, but has it really opened a different perspective on life? Obviously, having Mary Coulson as one of your bosses, and also seeing these kids and interacting with them, has it been a big change for you?
Yes, but I've worked with Europeans before. I've worked with a German and a Dutch. So yeah, I know they're very punctual. So yes, I have. But it has been life-changing, especially now when coming to work with the kids. You know, you can just see a kid that's very happy, very just jovial and enjoying their time. But then when you hear their story, like what has happened to them, we're like, how do they become this? And it's because of Restart does that change. So it's very life-changing working with Mary and seeing how she loves the kids. And not only her, everybody at Restart, from the volunteers to even Luke or all the colleagues, they're just working all together for common purpose. That is to help the kids, which is, I also want to be part of that. And I'm really glad I am part of that right now.
Awesome. Well, Jacqueline, thank you for joining us. So, Luke, thanks for coming on the podcast. Obviously, your role has been pretty, very life-changing throughout your whole time at Restart. So just explain what your role is now and how it's changed over the years.
My role now is the lead social worker. And I look after the children's well-being, their schoolwork, their health needs, and how they stay and play and live at Restart.
Absolutely. It's a very, very hard-working job, very fulfilling, I suppose. So what kind of work do we do with the children? What do we offer for them that they may not have had in the past? Obviously, social workers are getting a lot of care involved in that.
Yes.
In terms of their past.
Lots of showing the children love, just letting them be children, letting them play. Basically, what they didn't get is an opportunity to be children and play. That's what we're offering. That's what is different between us and where they've come from in their families.
Of course, and obviously it's very vital that people donate to charity and come and see us, do you think? To come out and actually experience what we offer?
It is good for people to come because if you see Restart and you hear about it, it's two different things. When you see it, you feel the energy that the place has and the energy from the children, and you see their faces and you can see that what they're getting is worth them being away from the families that affected them.
Of course, and it's a whole time at Restart. If you could name a few things that you've learned from being here, especially from your childhood to now, are there some major things that you've sort of learned, adapted to since working with children? Obviously, you've been here a very long time. So is there anything you'd reflect on the time that you've learned?
I've learned a lot of things. Been a student of history, self-taught student of history, to realize that the difference between African culture and Western culture is worlds apart in difference, in that African culture is not compatible with Western values. And you have to get to a point where you value yourself as a human being, even if it means it's at the expense of your African culture and traditions. Some of those traditions can be damaging to your future.
Absolutely. And obviously we do laugh about Kenyan culture as well. That's a big thing. And the volunteers coming out and seeing that is important. They come and experience what the Kenyan culture is like, especially in towns like Gilgil.
I think volunteers should come and experience how annoying it is to experience Kenyan culture and lateness and commitment and inability to fulfill commitments as stated.
Yeah.
And to realize we are up against those challenges every day.
Of course. Well, Luke, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
My fair lady, fill it up with iron steel, iron steel, iron steel. Fill it up with iron steel, my fair lady.
So now joined by Mary Coulson MBE, who's the founder and executive director of Restart Africa. So Mary, how did you first come to Kenya? When did you first come out there?
I came in, I think it's so long ago now, 1967.
Well, a long time ago.
It's a long time ago.
And you first came to this sort of area where we are in Gilgil?
I came to Gilgil.
Okay.
I came to the army camp in Gilgil, it had been the old British army camp, and I lived there, and then managed to meet some friends, or we made friends here, and he took pity on us, me with my children, and he offered us a house, what you would term Ridgemount now. And we lived there.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And obviously then we fast forward a large amount of time. You spent a lot of time in Kenya. And then obviously the charity was founded after you not being able to see these homeless children in the Civil War 2007.
Yes.
So talk us through that. What was that like, seeing these
kids?
It
was terrible. It was practically civil war. I mean, people were being killed in Gilgil town, driving down from Nairobi, everywhere. I mean, it was just appalling. And of course, the losers and the people that suffer the most are the children. The mothers would run away, and they did run away, and the fathers tried to escape too. Kids were left, kids were never taken. And so the children were just wandering around the streets. And of course, what happens then with children here is the fact that they get given drugs, they get, it's just awful. And some of them get money if they sell the drugs for the drug dealers. So it was a pretty grim sight for me. Also, it was very wet at that time. It was raining and there was mud everywhere. And I remember seeing little 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds trying to get food and scraping the ground to see if there was anything underneath that they could eat. And if they died, if the children died whilst they were on the streets, someone would come along and dig up a hole and bury them then and there. There was no inquest, there was nothing.
And you, obviously that's a tragic thing to even experience, even if you're Kenyan or not. But in terms of you starting to work in Kenyan communities, you already had quite a lot of experience of doing that already? Because obviously starting the original 6 boys in the Gilgil town, was it quite a hard experience even to try and start a shelter, I'm guessing?
It was a very hard experience, and I came home that evening weeping, and my husband said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I have to do something, I have to start a home, these children are desperate." My husband said, "Yes, I agree, I think you've got to do something, but don't ask me for money." He said, "Because I have just built I have just built Coulson Boys Secondary School. It's cost me a fortune. I haven't got any more money to spare." So I said to him, "Do not worry, I will not ask you for anything. I will do this myself." Not having a brass halfpenny to my name. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Yeah.
But when people came and saw me or visited me, I would tell them what I was doing, and they would always give me something. And then one day, a lady that lives in Gilgil said she was bringing over a friend from Devon, and her name was Kate Sowerby. And I said, "Oh, let me meet her," because I hadn't met anyone from Devon for a very long time. And I said, "Come and have lunch." So they came and had lunch, and she said to me, I said, "Kate Sowerby, do you come from Yorkshire?" She said, "Yes, I come from Yorkshire." I said, "Do you have a brother called Mark?" She said, "Yes." She said, "Are you the Mary?" I said, "I'm not sure I'm the Mary, but I'm Mary."
Not the Virgin Mary.
I'm not the Virgin Mary. And she said, "Oh my God, my brother Mark raves about you." Because I'd fed him.
Really? Yeah.
He was at Pembroke House and he hated the food, and I used to take him home and feed him. And she said, "Mary, what do you do?" And I took her to see these kids in the makeshift home that I'd managed to get in Gilgil. And she came down and she was crying, and she said, "I've got to do something. I'll go back and ask my dad to help." And her dad's lawyers phoned me up about a month later and said, "Can you come to London? We want to talk to you." And I said, "Yes, of course." I go to London and they say, Mr. Sowerby wants to build a home for you. And so this is how we got this building.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it, really? Because obviously now fast forward, 15 years I suppose, what is a charity are you like now? So obviously you've got over 100 children through education, right from sort of 3 years old up to sort of early 20s and
That's
beyond,
right.
with
And
all
beyond.
the community efforts. So what is Restart doing now in terms of everything it's doing?
Well, we're doing absolutely
Lots.
everything. I mean, we're doing a lot. We take in the worst of the worst cases of child abuse of all descriptions. There isn't any kind of child abuse that we don't try and handle, and we do handle it. And we educate the children. We educate them with all due respect, better than any other, way that they could be educated. They go to private schools. They go regularly to dentists. We do everything that other people do for their children. We do it for our children here.
Absolutely. And it's obviously large scale. We're talking over 100 kids.
Yes.
We've only got probably 10 staff that really are looking after the children.
Well, that's
so
right.
It's very busy, obviously,
Very
day to day.
busy.
Obviously, there's also opportunity for volunteers to come out as well.
Oh, yes.
So that's a big asset. What do you
love
think?
it. It's a huge asset, and they learn so much. The children here learn so much from the volunteers that come, and vice versa. The volunteers learn a lot from being here and being with the children.
Absolutely.
Because the children have nothing and nobody, but they're happy, loving, wonderful children. And so those girls and boys who are very disgruntled, in their own homes, wherever they come from, or, they're not good enough, or they've got other problems, they leave with no problems because they know that their problems are nothing compared to what these kids had.
Day to day here is, we laugh about the struggles, I think, of what can happen every day. But obviously there's a big one that's been happening at the moment with J.K. Rowling and Lumos and her work in the United Nations. So can you just talk us a bit through that, and why as a charity it's very important we make them aware of what they're doing and the lack of understanding?
Well, J.K. Rowling, she wants all children's homes in the world to be closed. And whereas I understand a bit why she wants that, but you can't just close all the children's homes in the world without going to the countries where you're going to close. I said, because I really mean this sincerely. Kenya does not treat their people are not brought up the same way as Europeans are, or Americans, or, most places. They are guided by the Old Testament that the British missionaries brought over and taught them, that the women are chattels, and children, they have to, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. All the kids are beaten. All the children are beaten. Women are beaten. Women are nothing. Most of them prostitutes because they don't get money, they don't get paid, they're not educated. J.K. Rowling needs to come and see what it's like to live in this place, with slums, with people with nothing. And who suffers? The children suffer. And we treat our children with love and care, and I had to teach the staff how to love children. And truly, I really mean this sincerely, we are changing society with every big boy and every big girl that leaves us, having been through Restart. We are changing society because they're going to bring their children up like we have brought them up. They're going to educate them like we have educated theirs. And please, she needs to come out, and I'd love to have her come and stay with me. It's
just mad, isn't it, really? When you think, obviously, a lot of children that, I've got to know over the years now, when it's been with us so long, a lot of them, the girls, for example, have been used as prostitutes as young as 3 years old.
Yes.
And to seem to think that they will just send them back to relatives, yes, but relatives, A, who are going to get paid, so that's why they want them, and B, are no better.
And the trouble is that with the relatives of the parents, they're brought up the same way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So those kids are going to be used and abused. It's going to be identical, in fact worse.
Yeah.
Because probably the parents will come in and do the same thing with their siblings.
And
do you see?
By 2032 they want to do this. Well, they're saying they do, but who knows anyway.
I know.
But I guess we have to focus on the positives. I mean, you've obviously created, with your team, a hugely fantastic charity. Being here myself and seeing it all happen, it's just there's nowhere else like it at all.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to call it a home for me now. So thanks so much, Mary. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for asking me these questions.
No, that's okay. And obviously, if you'd like to volunteer and everything else and come visit charity, we'll leave that in the description below for them.
Yes, that's lovely.
I am still with bend about, bend about, bend about. I am still with bend about, my fair lady.
Well, our first episode that's been abroad. So many lessons I hope you've taken on from all those chats. The main message being to love, care, and be kind to one another. If those children can truly do that after all they've been through, surely us in our everyday to-day lives can do that as well. It's very, very simple. Please support us as a charity, or maybe consider a donation, or coming out and volunteering with us. We have a volunteer scheme that is available, so apply now. All the links and everything will be in the description below. Well, that's it for this Canadian episode. Look after yourselves. Check us out on social media at Down the Phone Podcast. And of course, don't be afraid to go down the pub and give your fellow mates a hug. We'll see you next time. Asante Sana.